G'day cocktail lovers, how are you? I hope you're keeping well. Hey, do you have a special occasion this weekend? In Australia, this is a long weekend coming up to mark the Queen's birthday. Now, it isn't actually the Queen's birthday, that's another date, but it's simply a declared public holiday to commemorate the Queen's birthday, and when she pops her clogs, it'll be the King's birthday long weekend. And when, in some bright and shining future, we throw off the shackles of the ridiculous, outdated concept that is the monarchy, it'll be Republic Day. And, I look forward to that. But at the moment, it's a weekend, and it's a long weekend, so let's have a few drinks. So I thought I'd theme them around the royal theme for the Queen's birthday long weekend. Not least because the Queen has a reputation of being a pisshead. There was a story that circulated a few years ago, was attributed to the Queen's cousin, saying that, she has like 4 alcoholic beverages every single day, like a cocktail before lunch, a drink with lunch, and then a cocktail and a champagne at dinner time before going to bed, which would technically classify her as a binge drinker if she did that every single day. The story was subsequently denied by members of the royal household. I think it's a guy who had been a chef said, that may have gotten sort of confused because I was asked once, what did the Queen like to drink? And I said, sometimes in the morning she'll have a gin and dubonnet, and she'll have a nice wine or possibly champagne with lunch, and she likes a gin cocktail in the evenings and maybe a champagne as well. And that got translated into she does all 4 every day. She's a pisshead, so was her mum, and I'm going to celebrate with that. I basically did a search on some cocktails that had royal in the title and found some I liked the sound of. It's a weird thing often with cocktails that are whatever, royal or royale, just means they've got champagne in them. And I don't particularly like champagne, and I also think that's a cheap and easy out. So I found 3 cocktails. Hey, maybe you want to try them this weekend. Whether or not you're celebrating the Queen's birthday long weekend, it's an excuse, it's a weekend, time to have a couple drinks, starting with one called the Royal Smile. If you know anything about the Queen, you'll know she likes gin. I think Gordon's London Dry actually has the royal seal on it. I don't have Gordon's, but I do have some Tanqueray London Dry. This drink has 1 ounce or 30 mils of London Dry gin. We're also adding 1 shot of apple brandy. You could use Calvados, which is a French apple brandy. This is an American Applejack, so 30 mils of that to go in. We're also adding ½ an ounce of lemon juice and just a small amount of sugar syrup. I'm using an agave syrup. You want about 1/4 ounce of sugar syrup. And lastly, I'm adding a ½ ounce, 15 mils of homemade Grenadine or pomegranate syrup. We give all those ingredients a nice shake till they're good and cold. I like these metal shakers because when they get too cold to hold, that's a good sign you've chilled your drink sufficiently. We're going to strain this into a chilled coupe glass. Looking good, give it a taste. Ooh. I'm glad I only put a little bit of the sugar syrup in there because it's quite sweet. Oh, it really works though. The apple notes from the Applejack. Still got the gin in there. And actually, the homemade Grenadine is good. If you want to make your own Grenadine, it's really simple. Just get pure pomegranate juice and add 50% pomegranate juice, 50% sugar. You can put it on low simmer on a stove to help dissolve it. Or if you're really patient, just keep stirring it when it's cold. But it's much better than store-bought, and overall, that makes the Royal Smile a very nice drink. Our next royal celebration beverage is a margarita. I found a recipe called the Royal Velvet Margarita, and I'm Aussifying it up a bit. It had amaretto, which is an almond liqueur that I'm going to replace with an Australian macadamia liqueur, and it's also said to use a black raspberry liqueur. And I have an Australian black raspberry liqueur. So this is going to be a Royal Aussie Margarita. No big surprises from Margarita. Here comes the tequila. 2 ounces or 60 mils of Reposado tequila. We're also going to add 15 mils, half an ounce of the nut liqueur. As I said, the recipe I found said amaretto. I'm using MAC, an Australian macadamia nut liqueur. It is very good. Half an ounce into the shaker. And for the black raspberry component, half an ounce, 15 mils of this myrrh, which is a marionette. It's an Australian blackberry liqueur. There are versions of cherry, cherry's going to be quite different, but black raspberry, blackberry, myrrh around the world. I'm just being patriotic and using Australian. Our final touch is 1 ounce, 30 mils of fresh lime juice. And then we're going to give this a shake. We strain our Royal Aussie Margarita into a chilled coupe glass, or whatever glass you have handy, whatever glass you think suits it. Got a really nice blackberry colour coming in there. Oh yeah, that's a margarita with a twist, that one. That is good. Oh, the flavours sort of come in waves. You really get the lime. It's a fair whack of lime, and it could possibly do with slightly less lime in it. Obviously, the tequila holds its own, but then you later on get the blackberry and the macadamia flavours. A nice ossified recipe, this one. Our final royal cocktail is a stirred drink, and is bringing some of the Queen's heritage. She's quite proud of her Scottish links, so of course we had to have a drink with some scotch in it. This one's called a Royal Nail, and it starts off like it means business with 2 shots of Scotch whiskey. Single malt Highland if you're feeling really fancy. We also have half a shot of Drambuie. If you're not familiar, that's actually a Scotch whiskey liqueur. It's mixed with herbs and honey. So we're keeping very much to the Scottish Highlands with this one. The final touch is a dash of Creole style bitters. I'm using Creole bitters from the makers The Bitter Truth. I got this from the very friendly people at the Bitters Lab here in Melbourne. And The Bitter Truth is made in Germany. And that's quite fitting since the British royal family is half German anyway. So, it only comes out in drops, but a dash of Creole style bitters. Now we give that a stir. Want to chill it, a little bit of dilution, get those flavours active. Once more, straining this into a chilled coupe glass. Lovely sort of light amber colour going on here. Obviously could be a bit different depending what scotch you use in there. It's really good. Like 2 shots of scotch, you would think the scotch is all you could taste, but just that little bit of Drambuie and just a dash of the Creole style bitters just brings different flavour notes in there as well. A very nice drink and all. I hope you found some inspiration for your weekend drinking in there. Had a lot of fun making these, and heck, now I'm going to switch the camera off and I get to drink them all rather than just sip them. So that's making a good weekend for me as well. I hope you take care of yourself. Hope you enjoyed this. Please, if you're not already subscribed, subscribe to the channel. Do the little bell notification so you know when I've uploaded. Let me know if you're trying any of these or what your preferred long weekend tipple is. Whether you're a royalist or a Republican. I'd love to hear from you. Hope to see you again soon. Goodbye for now. I'll leave you with cheers.